Check. 1, 2. What's going on, guys? DJ Bone here. Welcome to episode 2, Machine Mondays, where we dive in on the machine, create a song from scratch, or a groove, or a beat, or whatever you want to call it. So right now, we're just rocking a pre-made kit from Faded Reels, and it's called Aw Yes. How's it sound out there? We doing all right? Levels all right? Microphone check. Volume check.
Hand me that ox cord.
And I ended up, last time I did this episode, I ended up having a hell of a time. What was going on was I had my settings up way too high for the camera, for the audio, for the stream, the resolution, you name it. And it was failing behind quite a bit. And so I lowered everything down to, I guess we'll call it a minimal. And hoping that this will be better today. Reposition the camera so that we can actually look at the device. I'm still working on the blown out white that is going on here. These buttons are supposed to actually be orange. I have my soft light fading or shooting away from this device. It's not on it. So it's like, why is this Logitech camera just blown out of proportion so bad? I mess with the settings, you name it. And if I was to like go to practically black contrast and brightness, then we might be able to see something, but everything else you just wouldn't be able to see. You want to be able to see the knobs and you name it. So just going to try and do my best for this episode, and we're just going to keep improving as each episode comes along. All right. So first things first, let's create a new set or a new project. We're going to discard that because that was just like some pre-made thing. All right. So now episode 2, that is, let's do another Faded Reels project, because Faded Reels and the other popular one right now, was it Magnetic Coast? I think it was. Yeah, Magnetic Coast. These two are like the latest ones for kits, expansion packs. Just got that chill vibe. I'm digging it. Kind of wonder if we should just grow off of that one. This is called the Afterglow Kit. Sorry you can't see it really well here. I mean, everything's just so blown out. It's POS. Oh, man, it's driving me nuts. I mean, I could do the iPhone here and just kind of have this be my camera. I think I'll try that next time instead of these fucking webcams. And we'll go from there. All right, so let's load up this Afterglow kit. Let's see how long it takes to load this one. Usually once I'm live and I try and get stuff going here, it always takes forever. That wasn't too bad. Rocking a Mac Mini, decent specs. Hopefully there isn't a whole lot of effects on here, which not too bad. See, now when I rock and roll Ableton, no problems when it comes to streaming. I can just fly right through. But when it comes to just standalone Machine, it's a memory hog. That's all there is to it. All right, so first things first, let's remove these patterns, which, yeah, you can kind of see those lit up here. All right, let's remove those. Start from scratch. All right, let's see what this kit has. digging it. I'm digging it. All right, we can work with that for a bass. Cool. Let's go back. All right. So, for what we're rocking here, it looks like we got a G sharp right here, an F, a C, and then a G. All right, so first thing I'm going to do on these 4 going across, I'm going to turn the choke on channel 1 on each one. That way, when I go to play a pad and move on to the next, it cuts the other pad off so that it doesn't bleed. All right, so we got our kit. Let's get a tempo down. Let's see here. What are we rocking right now? Default 120. We're going to turn that down. Say, try 80 maybe. Get a metronome, get a feel of the tempo. Oh, that's too slow. Let's bring that up. Tempo button, big dial. Let's bring it up to say 90. Still a little slow for what I'm trying to feel it out anyways. Let's try 100. Usually I don't, for chill vibes, I usually don't go this high, but let's give it a try. That'll work. Pattern 1, set it to auto by default with the latest Maschine update. That way we can just record. Let's do it. So just by doing that, it automatically, in the Maschine software, it knew where to end it because I didn't turn off the record after so long. So it knew to put it at 4 bars, the length of 4. Sounds like this. Good, nice and tight. I'm not gonna do quantize, full quantize. Kind of want that to just be what it is. I think by default, I should change that actually, but I think by default I have it set to quantize on record. But I'll make sure that that's off next time, but we'll just rock it. All right, let's lock that. That's All right, let's try this. We have note repeat on the note repeat button right here, which makes it so that it stays on and I don't have to hold it. And I think if I do lock, yeah, it's the same thing, because if I turn this off, it disappears. So if I hold note repeat and hit lock, it still disappears. So I have to turn off lock because it's not needed right there and hit note repeat. That way it stays on. So then I can go ahead and change the rhythm here as I'm recording. Let's go. There we go. Not bad. All right, let's do pattern. So we got that pattern down. Let's make a copy. Duplicate, click it, move it over. So now we got the same thing, and we're going to add to this one. Go back here, record. So that right there, all I added was so we got our kick snare. We got the note repeat hi-hat. And then I added the on pattern 2. Cool. All right, so now we're going to duplicate this kit right here. So now everything's yellow, which you probably can't see until I do my magic. That doesn't even look yellow, does it? F you, camera. All right. All right. So on this kit A, we use drums. We didn't use anything here. So technically, I could remove those. So I have room for more. If I go to the next kit that I just duplicated over, we already used these in the previous kit, so I could remove those for the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase, go to pad mode so I can see these. Erase, shift, oh, hold on. I did this before, hold on. There we go. So in order to do that, I held shift and erase, and I just got rid of them. Cool. So these are already on the same choke. I don't think I have to do the group. No, we're good there. I mean, if I want to get fancy, I could change each one to a different color. Yeah, how's that look on the camera? So we got blue, orange, red, and yellow. Orange does not look that great for you on camera. Blue just looks like freaking slush puppy color or something. Let's try green. Right. Moving on. New pattern. Auto. So now go back to hit pattern to come out of that, and we're just going to be doing these. Let's go. turned out perfect. All right, baseline. We're going to be using this one. So I'm going to go to duplicate, kit B, send it over to C. And then I'm going to shift erase these ones. And the pattern's gone. We're good there. And I'm going to remove those three. Shift. Oh, no. Erase. Yeah. Shift erase. There we go. See, now usually when I color code my tracks in Ableton, I always have like my baseline or sub bass be a red. But my kit here is already, well, kind of looks, no, it's orange. It's not red. So let's make this kit a red. So all I did there was just get out of pattern or pad mode, and so that it showed the master afterglow here of my kits. And at the bottom, as long as you have your kit selected, you can choose your color just by touching it and changing to what you would like. So now that I got my red color, hit that pad, keyboard. So this pattern sequence was, remember, G sharp, F, C, G. G sharp, F, C, G. So we're going to do G sharp, F, C sharp, and G. That doesn't sound right at all. G sharp, F, C, and G. So let's try it out. G sharp, F. Was that a C sharp? No, just regular C. So G sharp, F, C, G. So let's play along to that pattern in this kit and see how it sounds. All right, that worked good. Just trying to come up with like a fill. So instead of just holding the whole note the whole time, I can do like a little like climb down or something like that. See what we can come up with. New pattern. Just let it be on auto. Let's go. And I messed up. But the nice thing about that, shift, undo. Gone. Pattern's still there, ready to go. Let's do it again. Second time is a charm. So what I'm going to do now is going to go hit the mixer button, and I'm going to press, because everything's all expanded, I'm going to hit the up arrow on that track to minimize everything inside of it. So if I use my left and right, doesn't matter which one I'm on, press down, it's going to expand everything within that kit. And then you can use your left and right to cycle through each one and control your volume for each track, each sample. So I want to make sure that this bass line, the red that we color coded it to, is not too hot, because otherwise it's going to be a battle. Gonna have to do the side chaining, but I just want to make sure a listening mix sounds good without putting all the stuff that you got to do to make it mix well. The audio frequency battle goodness. So because I have this one minimized, here's our volume. I'm going to press play, and just listening by ear, I'm going to decide if I need to turn this track down. Another good way to tell is by looking at your signal and seeing where that bass is, whether it's sub bass, bass guitar, etc., synth bass, and seeing if it's either matching your synths or matching your drums. You want your bass line to be under everything, because otherwise your bass is going to be fighting too much in the mix. So this is what it sounds like if we turn all the way down. Barely audible. So now let's turn it up. Right about there. So if we solo our drums by holding solo and pressing what you want soloed. As you can see, our drum kit is peaking right at 0. So if we go over here, let's see what's on it first. Looks like we got grain stretch, reflex, flanger, and a limiter. So the limiter is already brick walling so that we don't go past whatever threshold it's set at. But I'm actually going to turn everything down a little bit. I mean, not to the point to where you have to turn up, but I just don't want everything so hot in a mix, because otherwise when it comes to master, it's going to be hell. So just like something like that, negative 3.6 dB for starters. So now I'm going to solo the next one. That's actually all right there. I mean, but on its own. But now if we unsolo, it's about the same as the beat. It's a little bit under. Sorry if it's a little too small. I'm actually gonna lower that just a little. About -2. So drums is -3.6. The synths is -2, and the bass line is -4.5. So it's a nice warm bass. It's not up front. Synths are good. Everything's sitting good for those three. All right. So now let's add one more instrument, maybe? Let's do it. I'm going to reload the Afterglow kit. All right. Get out of browser, pad mode. So it's the same thing all the way across, excluding the ones that we've taken out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave these 3 and remove the rest. And the reason why, if you're wondering why I always remove what I don't use, is because when you go to export, you have options to export. And if you choose to group all your sounds, export all your sounds, it's literally going to export everything that you didn't even use in your track, if that makes sense. So say 16 pads, it's going to export 16 tracks. But if you only use like 2 of them, then that means you've got that many empty tracks that are just taking up space that you don't need. So then this way you clean up, and then your project, when you go to export it, will be smaller in size and more ideal. All right, let's remove these pads, create a pad or pattern. Length is auto. Let's go back. So these ones are going to be kind of subtle sounds in the background. That one I don't know if I'm going to use yet. These ones, yes. So I'm going to set this to a fixed velocity of 16. That way if I hit it too hard or too soft, it's not going to do that. It'll just stay at a velocity, the same volume, no matter how soft or hard I hit it. That way, it'll be easier to mix in the mixer. All right. Still with me? Let's go. There we go. So now, those sounds were awfully quiet in the mix when I played them. So now we're going to go to this track, and we're going to see what the levels are when I played those. So as you can see, they are subtle, but too subtle. So there's a few ways around that. So first, let's get out of mixer. Let's hit one of these samples. I'm going to go to sampling. I'm going to go to edit. And as you can see, you can see that. As you can see, this waveform is awfully small. So we're going to go to these 2 buttons here, which will cycle through this option right here. And right there is normalize. So then I'm going to hit apply. And now it just normalized the sample for us. So now I'm going to do the same for the next one. Awfully small. It's still set at normalize from the last one. Apply. So now let's see how these sound. Go back to the mixer and play. Much louder. Too loud. But that's okay. Way too loud. All right, so now we go back to mixer, which we were at, and let's try negative 10 dB for this track. Not bad, not bad. I think this one sounds louder. Well, this one, the first note is up front. Then it fades out. This one, it's just, it kind of holds there at that level. So this one, I'm actually going to turn down a little bit. So to do that, I'm going to press down, and here it's already highlighted. So now I'm just going to turn that one down, say 2 dB, 2.2, negative 2.2. So now bring it back up on the up arrow here so that we can see these. Start from the top. Not too bad. I'm going to turn that one down a little bit more. -6. Let's try that. Much better. All right, let's put this together into a song. So to do that, get out a mixer and let's go to scene. So right now we have scene 1 by default. It's yellow, which you can't see. And with that being selected, I'm going to go through each kit, these 4 kits, and decide what patterns I want turned on for scene 1. So let's start off with the first pattern for the drum kit. Let's turn off kit B, turn off the bass, turn off the sound effects. So now if we just play this, it's just the beat. Works. It's good. So now I'm going to duplicate, go back to scene, duplicate by holding it, hitting it, moving it over. So now it's the same one again, but now I'm going to bring in under pattern on kit C, the bass line. Perfect. So now go back to scene, duplicate again, and now we're going to add in the synths. Good. So we got the bass line, the synths, and the first pattern beat. So now I'm going to go scene, duplicate that again, and I'm going to only switch the pattern to kit A to pattern 2. That way we get a variation of drums, even though while the synth and the bass line is playing. So 2 drum patterns in 2 different scenes. Okay. So now I'm going to make another duplicate. And for this one, I am going to go to pattern, have it on pattern 2 for the kit A, the only pattern that we created for the synths, the bass line, and now the sound effects. So in other words, this is the full everything. And that's for scene 5. So now we're ready to lay down kind of a song. And the way that I go about doing this, first I have my scene 1 selected. Be on scenes section so that you see your scenes. And at the top you'll see append. So you hit this button. So now you got a view here as well in the software. This is where you decide how you want your song laid out. So if you're like your typical traditional format, intro, verse, chorus, verse, maybe a bridge, chorus, chorus, outro. We would write it just like that by hitting those scenes. Intro with a variation. We'll call this one the first half of the chorus because it has that first drum pattern. And then the other one, then let's go back to 2 again. So think like verse right here. And then we go 5, 5. So now that's the full. So as you can see, here, let me grab a pen. As you can see, let's see if you can see that pretty well. We have intro right here. Then the beat and stuff starts coming in. And well, it's a quick intro actually because it's just this one standalone. Then this 2 bar is the bass line added. Then we got a first chorus with different beat variation. Verse for this whole section. Full chorus played twice depending on how long we made those bars. They're bars of or length of 4. And now that the chorus is done there, I'm going to go back and press this one again for verse. So now we got verse, verse. Then we're going to go full chorus, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1. So the reason why I did that is because you have your intro, added bass line, chorus, straight to the chorus. Then it goes verse. Then it's the variation beat of the chorus. I'm sorry, that's the full chorus. Then it's verse 2, full chorus, variation chorus. Then I'm just calling this last section here outro. So it's kind of like it's exactly a mirror of the intro, except I added one more of the beat at the end. So after the last chorus, you have the bass line with the beat. Then it's just drum beat, and you're done. So then now if I go to my software here of Maschine, right now what you're seeing is still just the patterns. But if I click on the top left, looks like horizontal lines underneath the Maschine icon, it will turn it into the song format view. And then if I move this bar, drag it left or right, or if I take the end of the bar and drag it, it now gives us the whole song. So one little tip is by default, when you press play on this, it's still going to loop the last scene that we said, let's put it in here in song format. So you might not be able to see it too well because I have it small on the screen there, but towards the end, it's gray right here on the top for this last beat. So what you want to do is you want to hit Shift Restart because underneath Restart is loop. So now you just turn the loop off and now you can play the full song. So now the next tip is when you go to press play, actually, how did I do that before? See, before, by default, right here in this section, which you might not be able to see real well, it's next to the 4/4 signature on the top of Maschine, is it normally counts the bars. But if you double click that while it's playing, it will change it to time. So then you actually know how long your track is for what you have it laid out. So if I skip to the end here, it's almost 5 minutes long. It's like 4:57. And that's a long song. But think of it this way. You were making beats. And if you were making beats for someone to lay some vocals down, this gives them plenty of room to try to grow and come up with ideas for this track to lay down on. But otherwise, maybe they thought, hell, this is good the way it is. I have just the right amount of material to lay vocals down on, and you're done. I mean, after this part, you would want to export it. So normally what I do for this part, here, let's do this. I am going to grab my Maschine window and make it bigger for you to see. All right, so now what I normally do here is you can do it from Maschine or the software, is you go to File, Export Audio. All right, so now this is what I was talking about when you go to export, and if you don't clean up the pads that you're not using, it's going to export those too, depending on what you choose on this step. So that means right here, range, loop, and all. I normally have it set to all. And then if you do sound, it's going to grab every sound from those pads. So if you choose this option, just remember, clean up. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot that you don't need. So I normally go group here. If you go master, that means you're just getting everything in one track, which is what you see in Maschine. So then if you think you did a really good mix in Maschine alone, then you can export it like this in the format of your choice, whether it's a wave, an IF, your 4401, 24-bit, 16-bit, etc. Choose your destination, the name of the track, and then put it in your DAW of choice to master your song. But because I didn't do that in here, I'm going to choose group. And then after that, it will separate each track just as you see here and nothing more, which is nice. So next time, or actually what I'll do is I'll get this track mixed and mastered, and then I'll throw a link in the comments of this video so that you can download it and have it for yourself. Otherwise, I'm DJ Bone Guys. Thanks for tuning in on Maschine Mondays, and I will see you next time. Peace.